Imagine yourself in the early 1600s England. The air is thick with religious tension between Catholics and Protestants. The Protestant Queen Elizabeth II has passed away, leaving the throne to her cousin James I, a man who promised to be more tolerant towards Catholics. But as time passed, it became clear that these were empty promises. Catholics were still treated as second-class citizens, their practices deemed illegal, their priests forced into hiding. James I, despite his mother's Catholic roots, staunchly upheld the Protestant supremacy in England, turning a blind eye to the pleas for religious freedom. It was a volatile time, a time of persecution and fear, a time when faith could cost you your life. In the midst of this, a group of Catholic dissenters grew frustrated and desperate. They were tired of living in the shadows, tired of being treated as traitors in their own land. Their faith was not just a part of their identity, it was their identity. But how long could they continue to bear the weight of this oppression? How long before their desperation turned into defiance? This was the powder keg that set the stage for the infamous Gunpowder Plot. A plot forged in the fires of religious discrimination and political turmoil. A plot that would echo through the annals of history. A plot that would forever be remembered on the 5th of November. Enter Robert Catesby, a charismatic Catholic with a plan, and his band of 13 conspirators, including the infamous Guy Fawkes. Catesby, a man of deep faith, was the mastermind behind the plot, driven by a fervor to restore Catholicism to England. He was a charismatic leader, capable of rallying a group of like-minded individuals to his cause. Among these was the enigmatic Guy Fawkes, a man whose name would forever be etched in history. Fawkes, a veteran soldier, brought a crucial skill to the table: his knowledge of explosives. His role was to manage the gunpowder that was to serve as the instrument of their rebellion. Each man involved in the plot had his own reasons for joining, but they all shared a common goal: the desire for religious freedom and a willingness to risk everything for it. These men held clandestine meetings, plotting their course of action in whispers and hushed tones away from prying eyes. They schemed, they planned, and they prepared for an event that they believed would change the course of history. As they strategized, the tension was palpable, the stakes were high, and the risk of discovery loomed over them. Yet, they were resolute, bound by their shared conviction and the hope for a different future. With their plan set in motion, the conspirators began to lay the groundwork for their explosive plot. Beneath the House of Lords in a leased cellar, the conspirators set the stage for their audacious plan. It was a scheme of staggering proportions, one that required careful planning and flawless execution. The cellar, located directly beneath the House of Lords, was the perfect spot for their plot. It was close enough to ensure maximum damage, yet secluded enough to keep their activities hidden. And so, under the veil of secrecy, the conspirators began their work. Their task was daunting. They needed to smuggle 36 barrels of gunpowder into the cellar. This was no small feat. Each barrel was heavy and cumbersome, and the conspirators had to move them under the cover of darkness to avoid arousing suspicion. Yet despite the challenges, they managed to transport all 36 barrels into the cellar undetected. Once inside, the barrels were carefully arranged to maximize the impact of the explosion. The aim was simple yet terrifying: to reduce the House of Lords and everyone inside it to rubble. But the plot was more than just a plan for destruction. It was a desperate bid for change, a last-ditch effort by a group of men who felt they had no other recourse. Their hope was that the explosion would serve as a catalyst for a Catholic uprising, leading to a shift in power and greater religious freedom for Catholics. The stage was set for an explosion that would change England forever. But every plot has its twists. An anonymous letter sparked suspicion, and the king's men were on the move. Under the veil of the night, the fuse of suspicion was lit. A mysterious letter, the identity of its author lost in the folds of history, arrived in the hands of a lord, warning him to steer clear of the Parliament on the 5th of November. The cryptic warning, vague yet chilling, raised alarm bells within the corridors of power. The king's forces, spurred into action, began a relentless search. The dark labyrinth of Westminster echoed with the footsteps of men, their lanterns casting long shadows on the ancient stone walls. As they descended into the depths, the air grew heavy with tension, the silence broken only by their own breath and the distant drip of moisture. And there, in the dimly lit cellar beneath the House of Lords, they discovered a solitary figure. Guy Fawkes, the man who would become the face of the plot, stood guard over the deadly cargo. 36 barrels of gunpowder, primed to ignite a rebellion and change the course of history, lay hidden in the darkness. The discovery sent shockwaves through the kingdom. The plot, a desperate attempt to topple the Protestant establishment, was thwarted just hours before the Parliament was set to convene. In the nick of time, the plot was foiled, but the story was far from over. With the plot discovered, the conspirators faced the full wrath of the king. The wheels of justice, driven by fear and outrage, moved swiftly. The conspirators were rounded up, some falling in a bloody showdown at Holbesch House, others captured without a fight. Each faced trial where their fate was all but sealed. In the halls of the Star Chamber, the accused were declared guilty of high treason. One by one they were sentenced to the grisly fate reserved for traitors, to be hanged, drawn, and quartered. The executions were public. A grim spectacle served as a stark warning to anyone who dared to challenge the king's rule. But the reverberations of the Gunpowder Plot extended far beyond the conspirators. Catholics across England, already marginalized and mistrusted, found themselves subjected to even harsher laws and restrictions. Every Catholic became a potential traitor in the eyes of the state, their faith a mark of suspicion that would take generations to erase. Today, we remember the 5th of November with bonfires and fireworks. But the echoes of the Gunpowder Plot reverberate far beyond the annual spectacle of Guy Fawkes Night. The plot, driven by faith and a desperate bid for freedom, has left an indelible mark on British culture and governance. The legacy of the Gunpowder Plot is twofold. On one hand, it's a cultural phenomenon. The burning effigies of Guy Fawkes, the fireworks lighting up the night sky, these are time-honored traditions that have been passed down through generations, a vivid reminder of a plot that could have changed the course of history. On the other hand, the plot's implications for security and governance were far-reaching. In the aftermath, laws were tightened and surveillance increased. The state's grip on security tightened, and the balance between personal freedom and public safety became a topic of heated debate, a discussion that continues even today. The Gunpowder Plot has also seeped into popular culture. Fawkes' infamous mask has become a symbol of protest, an emblem for those challenging authority and fighting for change. The spark of the Gunpowder Plot continues to burn brightly in the collective memory of Britain. It's a testament to a time of religious strife, a daring conspiracy, and a reminder of the lengths people will go to fight for what they believe in.